Hello, and welcome to the fifth episode of Your Opportunity Partner. My name is Associate Professor Art Gogatz, and I'm your host. And today we're going to continue to talk about opportunity and communications. We talked about that in the fourth episode, but communications is a really important topic when you're talking of opportunity. One of the things that really stands out whenever you're dealing with opportunities is people miss them. They don't take advantage of the ones they have. They don't see them. And one of the main reasons why is because people don't communicate enough and well. They under-communicate rather than over-communicate. Now, of the two, as I mentioned in the last video, if you have a choice between over and under, over is always better. It can be annoying sometimes when somebody just talks all the time. It can be useless sometimes, but it's really better to ask and to know and to communicate rather than not. When I teach, and I teach creativity innovation a lot, I would do an exercise with my classes. And again, I've taught all over the world. And one of the exercises we used to do when I taught creativity was I'd ask the students to write down answers to a couple of questions. One of the questions I asked were, give me three things that you would love to do or that you're embarrassed to do. And I got a lot of different answers. The reason I asked them to write it is I didn't want to have their names. So I wanted honest answers. If I ask somebody in class like that, they may not tell me, but if it's written down without a name, you tend to get more honest answers. And I remember teaching in Hong Kong, different places, but especially like in Asia, I got answers like, kiss my husband in public, tell my parents I love them. Now, when you grew up in the US, seems a little strange, but in many countries, you don't do that. How often do you tell your partner you love them? How often do you tell them thank you just for all the things they do for you? Most people don't. How often do you ask them, darling, what can I do to make you happier? I mean, if you did, your relationship would improve. Why? Well, we don't ask people, we don't tell people. Oh, you didn't tell me. We under-communicate. And that means we miss opportunities. Now, I'm going to tell you a story which is true about what happened to me once with opportunity and communications. It's a bit of a long story, so please try to follow me. In the year 2008, I was working in different places of the world. And one of the places I was working was Thailand. I happened to be in California at the time. And I had a schedule to go to Bangkok to teach an MBA course. And this was in November, just after Thanksgiving of 2008. And at that time, Thailand had some political problems. The two main political parties were sort of fighting with each other. And one of the political parties took over the international airport in Bangkok and closed it. So pretty much the airport in Bangkok was shut down. Now, Bangkok is the main city in Thailand. They have other cities, but Bangkok is the main one. And it also affected other cities in Thailand, which meant pretty much you couldn't get into Thailand at that time. Couldn't leave too well, couldn't get in. I had a ticket to fly from Los Angeles to Bangkok via Taiwan. I was flying on an airline, EVA, which is a good Taiwanese airline. I've flown them many times. And EVA called me in LA, in Los Angeles, and said, don't fly because the airport is closed. We'll put you on a waiting list and we'll rebook you when the airport opens. I said, no, because I realized if I said yes, I'll go on the bottom of a long list. And when the airport opens, it'll be a long time until I get a flight. But then the course will be, the opportunity to teach the course will be over. And I like Thailand. And at the time I wanted to go and teach the course, I didn't want to cancel it. Now, some of my colleagues who were also teaching at that time, I had a colleague in Australia, and he had a direct flight from Sydney to Bangkok. So his flight was just canceled. But I was a little bit lucky because my flight was LA Taipei, which is Taiwan, and then another flight into Bangkok. So they couldn't cancel my flight because I had to connect to Taiwan. So my family and friends said, don't go. I mean, this is crazy. But I said, no, I'm going to go. And I got to the airport and I checked in, and EVA said, well, we'll give you a boarding pass until Taiwan, but that's it. Once you get to Taiwan, you're on your own. And they had me sign a form that I'm not going to hold the EVA responsible. I'm on my own when I hit Taiwan. Well, I said to myself, okay, well, I'll fly to Taiwan and I'll stay in Taiwan. I like Taiwan. I've been there also. And I'll say, I'll just wait in a hotel in Taiwan until they open the airport. I'll be closer and I'll get to Bangkok fairly quickly. Okay. So I'm waiting to get on the plane in LA to fly to Taiwan. And they had two lines of people. They were checking passports again. And on the other line, I saw a good-looking young girl, woman. I wouldn't say girl, woman. Must have been about 25, 30. And she looked Thai. And I figured, let me go up and talk to her to see what she's going to do, how she's going to get from Taiwan to Bangkok. So I went up and talked to her. I said to her, are you Thai? She said, yes. I said, how are you going to get from Taiwan to Thailand? And she said, well, I have a flight on EVA from Taiwan into an airport which is south of Bangkok. It's an old military airport. It's called Utapao, which doesn't really function, but they're using it just to get some people in and out of Thailand because the Thai airports were closed. So they were using this as an emergency airport. And it was an EVA flight. I said to her, oh, EVA didn't tell me about this. She said, no, they don't want you to get into Thailand because then you'll be a problem for them. They let us Thai people go back to Thailand because we're a problem for them here in California or in different places. So they're letting Thai people, really telling them about the flight to go back, but they don't want international people like you getting there. So they won't tell you. Oh, not good. Anyway, I asked the people in the plane, they said, no, you can't do anything. When you get to Taiwan, go to the transfer desk and tell them. So when I got to Taiwan, I went to the transfer desk and the girl had given me the flight number and everything. I said, I want this flight. Transfer desk gave it to me. And so I took the flight from Taiwan into Utapao. There were only two foreign people on the plane, me and another foreign guy who lived in Thailand. Okay, got to Utapao. They made an announcement. You'll have to wait 5 hours to get your bags. Why? Because the airport was absolute chaos. People were there's only a few flights, not many people, and it wasn't really a functioning airport. They were just using it in emergencies. They said you have to wait 5 hours. Okay. Well, we didn't have to wait 5 hours. I think we waited maybe 3. Then there were no real taxis or anything. You had to make a deal with local people to drive you up to Bangkok because there was no other way to get to Bangkok because Utapao was in the middle of more or less nothing. So, okay, I made a deal with the people who drove, some people, didn't cost me much, and drove me to Bangkok, drove me to my university, and I got there on time for the course. Well, if I didn't go up and talk to the girl, I would have been stuck in Taiwan. You have to talk. Don't be afraid. Don't think you're bothering people. Go and communicate. We don't communicate enough. Now, I was fine. I got to Bangkok, which is what I wanted. I taught the course. Everything was great. But because I talked, most of the time, we don't do that. We are too inhibited. Well, then we miss opportunities. Opportunities are always there. They'll always be there until the end of your life. And in the same proportion, but you have to look for them. And when they are there, you have to act. Don't just wait for something. What it says up here, and we're going to see this a lot in this channel, hope is not a strategy. Hope something happens and they settle the dispute, whatever. No, hope is good. We need it. Prayer is good, but don't rely on it. It's not really a strategy. You need more than that. Now, one of the things that always, and especially lately, always makes me a bit surprised, I guess, because I'm old. You see people on their phones. You see people walking in the street, in the airport, and they're on their phones and they're walking towards you. See people in restaurants, they're on their phone. I've seen many times a family of 4, and they go into a restaurant and they sit down and they order and they're waiting for their food. And you have, let's say, mother, father, and 2, let's say, teenage children. Each one is on their phone. Do they talk? No. I've seen couples on dates in a restaurant, and they're both on their phones. Are they communicating? It's a date. Are they communicating? No, they're on their phone. I remember I had a very good friend, a former student, actually, and we were very good friends. She was in Hong Kong when I was working there. And she was a former MBA student. And she said, if I ever have anything important to tell you, I'll send you a text message. I won't do it by face-to-face. We're hiding behind technology. We're hiding behind our phones. Use the technology to communicate, but don't let it replace communication that is important. As I mentioned in the last video on communications, we're relying too much on our devices. We're relying too much on our apps. We're not really going up to somebody and saying, hey, can you help me? I don't know how to do this, etc. Now, maybe there's a other side to this. I remember many times, still today, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with my laptop. So I take it, let's say, to the IT person in the university. And they say, okay, they do some manipulations and it works. I said, well, can you explain to me what you did so I know how to do it? Sure, I'll explain to you. Blah, 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 boom. Did I get it? No. Can you do it again slower? Blah, 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 boom. Again. They did it 10 times and I still didn't get it because they explain at the speed of light. Even a lot of the YouTube videos that I see that are explaining how to do something, they talk too fast. They go too fast. Yeah, maybe they're dealing with experts. As a teacher, I know, talk slowly, oversimplify, emphasize something, over-explain. We don't do that. I remember when I was working in international education and we would get foreign students in. Most of the colleagues who did that at other universities explained, but not that much. You have to over-explain. You have to make it so that you believe this person came from Mars or Venus, and they know nothing. And you explain it like that, slowly, clearly. That's the way to explain. Most people explain too fast. The person doesn't get it. There's detail after detail after detail. So that's why in today's technology, it's good because you could ask ChatGPT or one of the other apps, and you can print it out, and you have all the time and know to go this step, this step, this step, this step. Use the technology. Don't replace it, because today a lot of communication is replaced by technology. Communication brings you opportunity. What can't you tell your family, your friends, your boss? A lot. We don't communicate enough. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you check? Yes, communication is important. Try to communicate more. It will bring you added opportunities. If you under-communicate, you're limiting your opportunities. That is the reality. Now, thank you very much for this video. If you liked it and find it helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we're going to talk about something which is really also important. It's opportunity and the desire to control everything. Thank you. See you next time.